Awesome. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on to Alisha. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Alisha Castillo, and the main, I think, what you guys are not understanding is the main problem that people have had with ASUCR is due to lack of action. Many of you ran on these positions under the pretense that you are for the students, but you guys have not done that. So instead of taking these critiques personal, how about you guys actually do something about the problem? It shouldn't have taken people constantly commenting and emailing for you guys to actually start to speak about this. And for example, even with Black Lives Matter, it took you guys a long time to even post about it. That is beyond unacceptable for a organization that has so many students within it. You guys should have acted on it. And I don't know who mentioned that how you guys were waiting on somebody to contact you. I'm pretty sure at this point you have seen certain instances of these statements and of these claims. So at that point, as somebody who is in a position of power, you should have contacted somebody. There are too many students here for you to have not taken the responsibility and decide to reach out. It should not be us reaching out to you. It should be the other way around. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Darielle Martin. If you would like to speak, whenever you're ready, go ahead and begin.
Yeah, I'm a freshman, and personally, I'm really disappointed because UCR says how diverse they are, and you love to poster your Black students, but I quickly learned within a couple of months of being here that this is really just an act. Because I'm thinking, okay, who is helping us now? How are you using your power? Like, you're supposed to come to us. And I'm specifically disappointed in the president because as a prospective student, I was just so happy that we had a person of color running for president. You know, I was like, obviously they're going to try to fight for all students of color because they know what it's like to be discriminated against and to have things taken away from them and to not feel heard. So to have a president that is a student of color and not be here for us, not reach out, not do what they can with all this power and all this privilege, it's really disappointing. Like, what is the point of you sitting here and trying to get in these positions of power if you're not going to use it for the right way? Like, maybe some of you needed this for a paycheck. If that's the case, you should have found somewhere else to work. You know, like, you need to understand that you are here to help us. And as a freshman, it's really heartbreaking because it's like, well, damn, if this is what's happening now, my first year, is it only going to go downhill from here? I don't feel comfortable telling people to come to UCR as a Black student. I really don't. Because I'm like, what are you doing for us? How are you helping? I really can't answer that in any way at this point. And it's just sad. Like, come on, you need to do better. Like, if you're taking it personal, please do. And I mean that with all disrespect. Take it personal. This is your job. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on to committee reports, starting with LRC, Senate Resolution Spring 20002, in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. President Gonzalez, whenever you're ready, if you'd like to speak about this, go ahead and start.
I was done explaining what the resolve was. So if anyone had any questions, I would answer them.
Is there a motion?
Motion to amend the resolution to credit secondary authors for the points that were referenced by, I believe, VP CEA Rosso. They pointed out there were a couple points that they would like to receive credit to other organizations for.
You said the VP CIA, right?
EA elect. I apologize. Just he's currently a member of the public, Vincent Rosso. There's a point they made earlier that some organizations deserve credit for some things that were incorporated into this resolution. I just want to make sure that's heard.
Okay. I agree.
Do you know which organizations they are?
Is Vincent still here so we can...
I assume BSU, but I'd like to get the whole picture.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
The organizations that you requested credit for in the resolution, I just wanted to clarify which organizations should be included. We're amending the resolution right now to include them as secondary authors.
Yes, please. That would be amazing. I can, or you're doing it right now?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've actually consulted with like a few different leaders in terms of that. So,
Yes, could
I would.
you give the
Sorry.
secondary authors, please?
What was that?
Could you just give us the name of the secondary authors, please?
Okay. Yeah, you can input Evelyn Kennedy.
Can you spell that out?
Evelyn Kennedy, Kennedy.
Anyone else?
Yeah, and then there's also KP. I don't know his last name though. Does anyone know KP's last name?
Point Tate. So like point and then dash TATE.
Point and dash.
No.
Oh, like Kaylin. So KALIN.
KALYN.
IN, sorry. And then POINT. And then dash TATE.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. And then you have consent from them to be listed as secondary authors, correct?
I would.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So we already went ahead and went through the entire resolution. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
I also just want to recognize Vincent for being the one within ASUCR who doesn't officially have a title yet to be the first one out of all of us, even including me, which I will take fault for not being the first one to reach out to these organizations. So I want to recognize Vincent for being that one person who did within ASUCR reach out to the Black Student Union and initiated the conversation and actually put me in contact with Evelyn and Kaylin as well. So thank you, Vincent.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on this resolution? I see no one. All those in favor of approving Senate Resolution Spring 20002? Thank you, Senator Velarde. Or is there anyone, Senator Velarde, how do you vote? I'm so sorry.
In favor.
Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstain? Motion passes 13-0-0. Thank you. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to Senate Bill Spring 20014, which is removal of Chapter 28 and amendments to Chapter 26. Sina Senator Perez or Sina Senator Hernandez, would either of you like to speak about this amendment?
Yeah, so this is just the removal of Chapter 16 of bylaws, which were included the TNT Task Force, the Transfer Non-Traditional Student Task Force. We decided to move it onto the Transfer Non-Traditional Director as bylaws, and I think he's in the Zoom call, so I think he can speak on it a little bit better.
Hello, everyone. So the Transfer Non-Traditional Student Task Force was originally its own bylaw, Chapter 38. From the beginning, we have attempted to assign these bylaws to individuals and members so that they can actually execute them. This bylaw has not been active for quite some time, even as my time last year as a committee member. Although we did have a few meetings this quarter, we felt like some of the language and some of the participants had to be amended, given that some of them are no longer active. So what we're doing is going ahead and trying to eliminate it, Chapter 38, and actually moving it to Chapter 16, which is the Transfer Non-Traditional Student Director. Given that the Transfer Non-Traditional Student Director isn't even mentioned in the bylaw, we felt that it was important to transfer the roles and the responsibilities from the Personnel Director to the Transfer Non-Traditional Student Director, and for that committee to have a role in this task force. Everything is essentially about the same. We did have to remove like one or two committee orgs, just given that they are no longer active, and we have left open a position to have some ex officios join given that we want to make sure that this task force is one that also involves folks from the administration, just to further implement some kind of policies to better support the transfer non-traditional student community. But yeah, that's essentially it. It's remotely right about the same. Again, technically, even though I've been chairing these meetings, I haven't been up to par with this bylaw, given that, again, my name isn't even written on the bylaw, the director. So now we hope that we'll have better turnout and we'll be more consistent with it being active, given that now it's assigned to the person that probably should be assigned to from the beginning.
Thank you. Would any other authors or secondary authors like to speak about this Senate bill? I see no one. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve S 20-014.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I see no one. All those in favor of approving Senate Bill Spring 20-014? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0-0. This is passed.
EVP Cortez, Andrea is asking if we can record this meeting.
Yes, I've seen the chat. Thank you. Next, we're going to go ahead and move on to Senate Bill Spring 20-007. Give me 1 second to pull it up.
So it isn't possible for the meeting to be recorded. Is it against policy?
No, the meeting will not be recorded today. Okay, so this is the last LRC bill. Okay, Senator Huerta, would you like to speak about this bill?
Yeah, can I please?
Yes.
Yeah, let me just say real quick. Sorry to Ashley Taylor. I'm really sorry. I did not receive an email. I'm actually gonna reach out to you after this meeting for GroupMe and see if you could actually clarify that with me. Really sorry about that again. Also, I want to say thank you to the authors, Roman, KP, Evelyn, Vincent, and Ariana for proposing the BSU statement. That was really appreciated. I am 100% on support with that. I really do. Think that this is a great cause. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've actually been kind of active on the Let's Take Action GroupMe. So again, I'm really sorry for you guys feeling disconnected. We want to it and right. Anyway, so back to the bill. I want to explain a little bit more as to why I brought it up, as to to make sure that you guys all feel okay with why I chose to bring it up. So one of the big reasons was that this is essentially a job, right? This is a job. So students, this people get paid for this because they're actually putting in some work into this, right? So the EVP position and all the other VP positions, they actually put in a lot of work to do what they're supposed to do, right? So a lot of the times it takes so much time that even your job gets affected. Your actual job gets affected because you can't really pay as much. For example, me, I work at Subway. I don't know if y'all can tell, but when I used to work at Subway, I would actually call off work to do ASUCR stuff. That would obviously affect my paycheck, and my income would rely mostly on Subway. But obviously, when you're not putting in that much work for Subway, you got to find the income somewhere else, right? So my stipend would be the backbone of that. So that's one thing. Another thing is I feel like I should really emphasize the point that the reason why it was also brought up is to make sure that there's equality within all the VP positions, right? So it's not fair that somebody does so much more work and then everybody does the same amount of work, but then that person isn't actually getting paid for doing that job. And I personally feel like that's not okay because that person's really getting shorthanded for what they actually deserve. And then the last thing is, I think it's really unfair that the future, the current, or whatever, these VPs are being put in these positions of becoming villains for us for wanting to be paid more. As students, Vincent knows this, Julian knows this. These people know that I am all for students' workers' rights because you know what, I'm a student worker and I'm independent, right? So I don't have my mom or I don't have my dad in the picture, right? Think of me like an orphan, basically. Like I live on my own. So when I hear about somebody, wanting to ask for a raise, I don't think that's a bad thing. But when somebody is asking for a raise and people are turning them down, saying that you have this, you have that, I don't think it's really fair because we don't really understand where these people, are coming from, right? So even though you might think that they're doing really good on their own, they probably aren't. They're probably like really struggling financially, and this stipend is what they believe in, what they, think that is actually going to help them out in the future. Just wanted to clear that out, and I just wanted to say again, if anybody has any questions, please, like the last meeting I said, please reach out to me. I'm gonna put down my email just in case people could reach out to me. Last time I said, and clearly there was more, issues to be had. So please bring that up to me again. And as for judicial, even though like I was a primary author, nobody really emailed me, and I was never really aware of the whole procedure. So I really don't think that's fair that judicial made this whole decision without even putting me in the picture when I'm also one of the people involved. And I'm actually asking them for them to reconsider their whole ruling on that. And I will reach out to them on my own afterwards. But again, I am really, really sorry for, everybody that believes that this Black Lives Matter issue is not being addressed. It really is. I really am sorry for that. And please reach out to me again because I clearly need to do more work. And thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak about this bill?
I have a question. Okay, so I'm sorry, but I wasn't clear on the judicial.
In order to ask a question, we would need a motion and a second in order to vote on this bill.
Can I motion then? Okay.
Motion to approve Senate Bill S-20-007.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Okay.
Go ahead, Senator Thomas.
All right. So, I was kind of okay. So, judicial ruled that we voted on this last time, and they said that it didn't go through. So now we're voting on it again, but the legislation has been changed. Senator Horta, what has been changed?
Sorry, I was reading the Zoom group chat. I wanted to address every question. Can you say it again one more time?
Okay, so judicial made their ruling.
Mm-hmm.
They said that we couldn't. They said that the last vote didn't go through.
Mm-hmm.
We're voting on this again. Has there been something like changed in the legislation specifically that was different from the last time, or is it the same?
It's the same bill, 100% the same.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, EVP Cortez, could I look at the Zoom group chat real quick so I could actually answer their questions? I think this is to answer everybody's questions.
Yes. Or pertain to the bill at hand, then yes.
Okay. So I think it's Ashley Taylor again. He says here for student workers' rights when it doesn't come at the expense and determinant of students. Can someone clarify how this is tuition for the rest of the students wherever this money comes from? Great question. I'm here to answer it. So that money will actually not affect the tuition whatsoever. The money comes from that ASUCR already has in hand. If that money is actually not used, it won't be used. Like it's not going to affect any student whatsoever. It's already there in the budget. So events or increased in positions or adding more positions that need stipends. Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
My question is, for next year, do you have any plans to be in, it pertains, I want to make sure there's clear, no conflict of interest. Will you be in any paid ASUCR position next year? Orange.
Yeah, so that's actually a great question. Thank you for asking that. I will actually not be in the EVP's office whatsoever. I've decided not to be in it. It's not the role for me. If anything, I would like to work under the future Vice President of Internal Affairs office, but again, that's a completely different office, completely different association. Just to point that out.
So you will not be working for EVP Cortez, or I mean EVP Hernandez?
Yeah, correct. I will not be working for her in the future. Yeah.
Can you address the chat?
I'm sorry?
Can y'all address the chat?
I'm consulting with the parliamentarian as we speak.
Can I make a quick comment, Lori?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. So I see that you said judicial has already ruled on this. If you'd like to further clarification, then ask Chief Justice to speak. I guess one of the big things that I'm just concerned with is why was I never involved in this meeting when I am a primary author?
I just want to state that once again, pro staff one meeting has asked. Oh, you're not. Our other pro staff? Come on, Senator.
On you, please.
I'm sorry, Senator Thomas. I couldn't hear you.
Please wait for the chair to address you. Please stop unmuting yourself, Senator Thomas.
Can I be unmuted now or no?
So please wait for the chair to call on you. Okay. Senator Huerta, did you finish saying what you had to say?
Yeah, I was done with that. What I had to say. Sorry.
Awesome. Senator Thomas, there was a comment from you, correct?
Yes. Yes, there was. And I feel like it was kind of rude what you just did right now. It was rude. So the pro staff first asked us to record the meeting, Andrea, and then Lori, our other pro staff, is saying that it's unconstitutional. People in the comments are speaking and we're still not listening to them. Senator Huerta, I know that you somehow you agree with this, and I'm kind of disappointed that you're not also standing with students right now and our pro staff who has helped us throughout the year. And I'm kind of disappointed that other senators don't see how ridiculous this is getting. I mean, our pro staff literally addresses in the comments and we're not answering them. Let judicial speak, please. At least.
Can I respond to that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so my intention wasn't necessarily to reopen the vote, right? Like, I didn't really want to bring this up. I felt like there was a lot of hate towards this specific bill, and I was curious, and Senator Thomas, me personally, that I like to be very upfront with my things, right? So I just felt like it wasn't brought up to my attention. I just wanted, to clarify to not only to the senators, but to the public and to everybody else. Again, my intention wasn't to open the vote. So to Lori, I don't think we need to vote on it again, but I just wanted to say that for y'all.
Senator Kim, I saw your hand up. Do you have a comment?
No, it's okay.
Okay. Senator, I saw your hand up as well. Do you have a comment? Senator Yoselin Gutierrez, did you still have your comment?
Yes, I just wanted to go and like kind of address the comment that was made about why Senator Horta was not involved in judicial hearings. And I want to go ahead and point out that judicial is a whole different branch, and they are examining that from a part of our Senate meeting. We are not we have to recognize that there is a division of power for a reason, and they make their decisions. So I mean, I'm all for senators, standing up and expressing what they believe in, but we have to respect that there are different branches for a reason. Just like we have to respect the executive branch, we also have to respect the judicial branch and realize that we are not entitled to being in conversations where they have to decide whether our behavior as Senate is appropriate, and they have the right to meet on their own as judicial branch without us having to be there.
Apologies, but if I may, if that's okay, because I know Huerta was a little confused. So Nelson Huerta, the reason why the people that we summoned in Judicial Council wasn't because of the ruling, or not because of the ruling, not but the chapter itself, the amendment that you're trying to do, it was rather how the voting was conducted. And so the people that were in charge of the voting was not the parliamentarian. And so most of it was basically just asking how and why was the voting conducted in this certain way, what was the procedures of Robert's Rules of Order, and then of course the question of conflict of interest. And we then invited Natalie and asked for her opinion, because of course she was the main person that changed her vote, which was the main issue that came to be the case. And that's why we technically didn't feel the need to summon you, because it was mostly the people that were in charge of the voting procedures. I mean, unless you had a direct thing that was involved with the voting procedures, you're more than welcome to kind of let us know. Again, if you feel like you don't agree with what we did, you're more than welcome to submit an appeal. I don't think we'll be able to have the time to actually go over this appeal, and this would have to be done with the new Judicial Council. But we can do an appeal if you guys want to. It just needs to be sent in. But I hope that clarifies a little bit better. It wasn't anything personal against you. It was just more of how this voting procedure was done. That was the main issue with this case. So I hope that was able to kind of clear the misunderstanding there.
Yeah, considering the timeline, I don't think that there is time to make an appeal, since this is the last Senate meeting. So this bill will not be able to be brought up at any point in this quarter or this year, as I said, because this is the last Senate meeting.
Thank you for that. I just want to say thank you. And sorry to everybody that got the wrong impression. So thank you and sorry.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on this bill from any senators? Senator Garcia, go ahead.
It's not on this bill, but I just have a genuine question. Is there a reason why we can't record this meeting?
Yeah, I just don't know how to record it. I'm so sorry.
We could show you how.
It's all right. Thank you. It's the last Senate meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Are there any more comments on this bill? I see no one, so we're gonna go ahead and move into a vote. All those in favor of approving Senate Bill Spring 20007? All those opposed?
Sorry, I'm confused. Are we voting?
Yes, we are.
May I ask exactly what you're voting? Because you technically can't vote on it once it's been a judicial case, because that would be a direct violation of finality clause.
So essentially what is happening right now is that the bill failed because of the judicial ruling, and Senate is allowed to bring the bill back to the floor after the bill has failed, as long as there was a motion, a second, and a majority vote, which there was at the beginning of this meeting, which is why we are continuing with the vote.
Abby, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Because there's so much discrepancies, is it possible that everybody could just abstain to voting for this bill?
Yes, that is entirely. Okay, so again, all those in favor of approving Senate Bill Spring 20007? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, are you still on the Zoom call?
Yes, I am.
How do you vote? Abstain? Did you say abstain? Senator Velarde?
Yes, abstain.
Okay. Thank you. Motion fails 057. So we're gonna go ahead and continue with the meeting. Next we have a finance hearing from June 1st, 2020.
Hello everyone, happy week 10. So we only have one allocation and then we have some reallocations. So we have a president allocation towards the Black Lives Matter movement and it is $2,367.37. And this is from non-student fees. So everything here is from non-student and for us to be donating all of these non-student fees towards something like this. It's never happened before actually. But basically we're gonna be voting for the president's allocation towards Black Lives Matters. Does anyone have any questions before we vote on this?
I have a question.
If there's a question, we need a motion and a second first. I'm sorry.
Money came from non-student fees, so it would be like ASUCR has like some
a motion and a second first in order to have discussion on this.
Motion to approve finance hearing minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Senator Cuevas, go ahead and ask your question or give your comment.
My question, why didn't the funds go to students for like Black students on campus? Why was it? That was just my question.
I can, so the funds that are here are from non-student fees. They have their, we just needed to put it under like a donation category, but what I'm planning to do is to reach out or to continue the conversation with the Black Student Union student leaders and see where they would want the like the money to be directed to. So I just needed to underline it under a certain category to be able to vote on it. But after the meeting or once you either approve of it, I will be reaching out to the Black student leaders on campus and seeing where the money would be able to be used most effective in the movement.
So you're gonna.
The money comes from non-student fees. ASUCR gets profit from like the bank machines like Chase or Bank of America, and then we also have some vending machines. So that's where the non-student fees come from. Any other questions?
Is there any other discussion?
I think Angel got cut off. I think he had a following question.
Oh, sorry.
Senator Cuevas, did you have a follow-up question?
No, my question was answered.
Awesome, thank you.
All of the money was used for our gear, only partial of the non-student fees.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the Senate? I see no one. We're gonna go ahead and move into a vote. All those in favor of approving finance budget hearing number 29? All those opposed? All those abstain? I don't believe everyone voted. We're gonna have to go ahead and do that one more time. All those in favor of approving finance budget hearing number 29? Awesome. Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. All those opposed? All those abstain? Motion passes 11-0-0. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and move on to the budgets for 2020-2021.
So basically how we will be voting on this, we'll be going through each page separately, and then we'll be voting on each page separately.
VP Chang, do you have a specific one that you'd like me to start with?
We could start on operating.
Okay, cool.
Does anyone have any questions about operating? Obviously, as you can tell that next year's budget has been changed towards anything that will be happening due to COVID-19. Any questions? Okay, can we get a motion to approve the operating budget? Motion to approve the operating budget.
Okay.
All those in favor of approving the operating budget for 2020-2021? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 13-0-0. VP Chang, is elections all right?
Yes. I'll start saying the categories to go off next. So for elections, the amount has been staying the same. The only thing that will be different will be events. So all the money has been moved around just so it will have the same amount budget. The biggest difference it would be the technology co-chair. So usually ASUCR would hire a third-party vendor to create the voting that happens for students for elections. So this upcoming year, they will be having the technology co-chairs creating that source for voting. Any questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve the elections budget for 2020 and 2021?
Motion to approve elections budget.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the elections 2020-2021 proposed budget? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Senator Thomas, did you vote on this? I'm sorry, I did not.
Yes, I did.
Did you vote in favor, opposed, or abstain?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0-0.
We'll move on to VP of Finance next. So the only difference in this budget would be to add the outreach director position and for the meetings budget. And then for the polos, because the committee will be growing due to the outreach director coming into the finance committee as part of the finance committee. That's the only difference. Any questions? If not, can I get a motion to approve the VP of Finance budget?
Motion to approve VP Finance budget.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, or is there any discussion? Sorry. I see no one. All those in favor of approving the motion on the floor? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Gutierrez, how do you vote?
Sorry, I thought I put my hand up to approve.
I'm sorry, how do you vote?
Approve? In favor?
Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0-0. Awesome.
Okay, we'll go on to the president's next.
And I actually asked the Senate to amend something in my proposed budget. Could I have a senator motion to change the ARGEAR line item to becoming a undergraduate student emergency fund?
I motion for the ARGEAR line to become the undergraduate student emergency fund.
Second.
The 2020 to 21 school year. Okay.
There was a second, correct?
Yeah, that was me.
Awesome. All those in favor of approving the amendment on the floor?
Talk about it.
Sure. Senator Cuevas, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Abigail, I think there's people waiting to get let in the chat. I mean, in the meeting, so I don't know. They're saying it in the chat, so I don't know if you could let those people in.
Okay, awesome. In the future, please say point of order if you're speaking about anything like that.
Yeah.
Senator Cuevas, go ahead and ask your question, give your comment.
Since we're going to be adding this to the line item, one of the things that I know we already have the food pantry, and a lot of BCAP members have donated about $30,000 of this year's funds to help the fact for COVID. What will the $40,000 go into? Since it is the biggest line item on the whole spreadsheet, so or if we could talk to the next president or something, because $40,000 is, like a lot of students said, is a lot of money.
Well, the person who is proposing this is the current president, so I don't believe that the upcoming president, incoming president, would have an answer to your question. President Gonzalez, go ahead.
I'm hoping that the incoming president will just use this in the same way. Let's say, I hope to God that another COVID-19 doesn't happen for a long time, because obviously that's not inevitable. But if there is to have funds to be redirected to them, or if there's events on campus that ASUCR could potentially collaborate with this, I just made it there just to have access to all that. So essentially all that money should be going, all that $40,000 should be going back to undergraduate students some way, somehow. I hope that answered your question.
Did that answer your question, Senator Cuevas?
Yeah, that answered my question. Does any other senators have questions?
Are there any other senators that have questions? Senator Thomas, go ahead.
So next year, and then the following years, like you said earlier, I believe you said at the last meeting, President Gonzalez, the president next year, if they see fit, can have the next year's Senate vote and change the line item where they see fit, correct?
Yes, and that's possible for any of the other officers as well.
Any other questions?
I see no one. All those in favor of approving the motion on the floor?
We can't do that for the students in charge.
All those in favor of approving the motion on the floor?
Oh.
Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
Approve.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0.
EVP Cortez, can I address some of the questions in the chat?
Sure.
I'm trying to find the first one I saw. So Vincent asked to please put Black students in charge of spending that money. I just gave it a general name. It doesn't have, my purpose for it is to hopefully, initially it was for our gear, but I realized that's not the priority of the undergraduate students right now, so I wanted to change it to be more general and just use allow the next president to kind of use that. So I'm hoping that they will prioritize Black students and underserved communities on campus to potentially, hopefully, collaborate and fund their programming or expand their programming, or use that money to finally build that bridge of communication or outreach that we want as AS. Obviously, I won't be here next year to keep them accountable, so I hope it will. The new officers will be kept accountable. And then, what activities and actions does the Student Voice Committee take to be awarded $5,000? So, the Student Voice Committee is a committee in ASUCR, and they are a group. I don't know the amount, but 12 of them, where they go around campus and they run surveys to bring back information to ASUCR. So let's say someone in ASUCR needs a survey on the approval, to see how many students would approve our gear. This Student Voice Committee would run a survey, and they would go around campus getting input from students. they use that to get giveaways and get other like programming items for their. How do they conduct these surveys? I actually don't know their like how they do it, but I know that they create a survey and they have their volunteers go out and directly talk with students, and talk about the specific topic that they're talking about. Give it to the Black Experience Student Work Group. Again, if this is this will be the decision made on by the next AS president. And again, I hope you all understand that sometimes as an association, we do have university restrictions and also UC policy that restricts us from going to different campus departments. And I guess the new cabinet could work with like the campus administration to get exceptions like we did this quarter to get the funds to the COVID-19 pandemic. And then in-person or campus-wide distribution, I've never been a part of. They usually do campus-wide surveys. So whatever time the volunteers are available, they go and do those surveys. And will you acknowledge EVP's behavior to... I will not ignore EVP's behavior. I don't want to tell her how to run her meeting. At my space, I don't run, like she's the leader of this space. And based on parliamentary procedure, yes, the tone and the could have been improved. I do recognize that, but the way she's running procedure is run by like the parliamentary procedure that ASUCR is ran on. So I won't tell her how to run her meeting. And then thoughts on at least collabing with Coastal Hall when it comes to financing where the money goes. Coastal Hall and different programs can come and ask any officer in ASUCR to collaborate, and we are able to fund whatever they need to be funded. So like examples that we've done is the Women's Resource Center. We help donate money to their Persist conference, and that's with any other organization or student group within any of the Coastal Hall offices. They're able to talk to the president, the EVP, or any other officer in ASUCR, including senators, to collaborate with them. And I do recognize that that needs to be improved. And I hope that after I leave, whoever is coming in will continue to improve on that. And then
difference between donating and collaborating.
And then Coastal Hall has come to you guys for funding, but you guys are able to blatantly come into their space and ask for a name change. I don't know where that is related to. So sorry, I kind of addressed that. And the difference between donating and collaborating. The difference between donating, or the reason we're able to donate this, like the funds that the Senate just voted on, is because it's non-student fees. So the restrictions usually apply to like the tax. So it's like the fee that you pay for ASUCR. That's the money that we're restricted to use for specific things. So let's say the ASUCR referendum is to provide programs, giveaways, whatever it may be, to the undergraduate students. But collaborating is where we are allowed to go. Let's say the Women's Resource Center came to ASUCR. We need this funding to provide this at our conference. Can we do that? If it was just like us giving money to them, we wouldn't be able to do that. The only way we're able to create that loophole is when we are considered like sponsors or partners within the programming. So that's why our logo is on any program that we have donated to. And then yes, and I do recognize that ASUCR needs to do better in collaborating with POC folk on campus. And I'll just quickly address the comments from the beginning. And I know that like ASUCR needs to do a better job. I guess I will take fault in it as the leader of AS. And I could recognize that in some areas I didn't do the most. But I hope that whoever follows after me, I guess, learns from my mistakes and does a better job, hopefully, better job than me. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. So we're now going to go ahead and move on to the personnel director's proposed budget for the following academic school year.
Does anyone have any questions? If not, can we get a motion to approve the personnel budget?
Motion to approve the personnel budget.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the motion on the floor? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0-0. We're going to go ahead and move on to the VPCIA's proposed budget for the following school year.
The only difference is that there are only added officers, which has been passed through LRC and Senate. Other than that, same budget. Any questions? If not, can we get a vote for the VPCIA?
Is there a motion?
I move to approve the BPCIA's proposed budget for 2020-2021.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the proposed budget for the
Can we talk about that real quick?
Oh, yes. Go ahead, Senator Gomez.
Have we taken into consideration, I don't know, will we be able to get the waiver? The events that won't be able to happen?
That's a great question. I have no clue. Let me get back to you on that. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions? I see no one. All those in favor of approving the proposed budget for the VPCIA for the following academic school year? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 11-0-2. Next, we have the transfer non-traditional director's proposed budget.
Same budget as the year before. Does anyone have any questions? If not, can we get a vote for the transfer budget for 2020 to 2021?
Is there a motion?
Motion to approve budget.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in, or is there any discussion? I see no one. All those in favor of the motion on the floor? All those opposed? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
In favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0-0. Next, we have the EVP's proposed budget for the following academic school year.
So the only thing that would need to be changed is we need to amend the EVP stipend back to $7,425, but we need a motion for that. Can someone motion?
Motion to decrease allotted budget to $7,425.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of approving the motion on the floor? All those opposed? All those abstain? Senator Velarde, how do you vote?
Favor.
Thank you. Motion passes 13-0-0. So it's been changed on the budget. Is there a motion to approve the EVP proposed budget?
Is there any comments about fall retreat?
If there are any comments, we would need a motion first.
Motion to pass budget.
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Senator Kim.
Can we get rid of the fall retreat and amend that? Because there really isn't any necessary need for that. I don't even want to explain.
Basically, you can allocate the money to something else, and if you take it off, then we'd have to like redo the budget. But officers can like give out money to like different budgets, or like they can allot it to something else.
Can we change the title like we did for our year?
Does anyone have any ideas?
I would really consider not changing it. I understand that there is most likely not going to be a retreat for next year. However, if you do change this will affect not only next year's, but the years following next year's budgets unless the Senate decides to vote on it again next year and change the name back to the fall retreat. But like VP Chang said, this can be allocated to something else. It does not necessarily have to go to the retreat, especially since there most likely will not be a retreat next year. So I encourage you not to rename it because it will mess up things for the year after next year. Senator Garcia?
I kind of want to change the name because although, yeah, it will be a bother for next year, it's something that we can deal with like later. Like this is like having the fall retreat line item is just going to be kind of, I don't know, we're not going to have anything involved. So might as well just change the whole line item so that's something beneficial to like the students. Like the way that the president's line item was changed, I think it was like undergraduate emergency fund. We could change it to that.
So for this one, it's a little bit different because this is through student fees, and with student fees, again, students signed on for this referendum to be towards something specifically. For the Arguer one, it was from non-student fees, so that's why it could get changed to basically anything that the students wanted. So with this, it has more regulations, so we have to have it within the regulations. So
Okay.
any ideas?
Can we add that money then to senator projects so that maybe the senators can work on something for next year and then use that extra money for like bigger projects?
Good idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
Angelica.
okay.
Is there a motion on the floor?
Motion to move budget to senator projects for next year.
I'm sorry, your motion is to do what?
Move that line item to senator projects for next year.
To rename the line item?
To rename the line item for senator projects next year.
Second.
Ames, could you help clarify something for me? Is it possible to have two line items that are the same with different amounts?
Basically, what would happen is this line item would be transferred over to the EDP budget. Oh, this is the EDP. Sorry, it would just be transferred over down to that line item.
Okay, so would I just rename fall retreat to senator projects?
No, what you would do over in the proposed line item, zero out the 5,400, and then add it to the senator projects. So we increase that amount on that line item.
The amount would be 9,000.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but someone had a good idea in the chat to use that money to pay for trainings for senators to get anti-blackness, undocumented ally, and like parliamentary training. If some of that senator project can go to that, because I know that those trainings are not free since they're provided by outside organizations. So I would say to allocate some of that money back to fall retreats, because to be completely honest, a lot of you didn't even make events this year, so I don't know how different it would be next year. So I would definitely use some of that fund to go to training.
Maybe we could do half and half, so then we can do 2,700 for like the top one, and then 2,700 for fall retreat. So then it would be.
Is there a motion?
So then we would change the amount for the senator projects to be 5,900. But that's to be amended.
Is there a motion to do this? Okay, I don't see a motion.
Motion to change the senator project's proposed amount to 5,900.
Okay, and then what will happen to the fall retreat amount?
And fall retreat would be 2,700.
Thank you. Is there a second? Second. All those in favor of the motions on the floor?
Wait, I have a question. So for the fall retreat, we can't change the line item. We can't put like fall like trainings instead, or maybe just like trainings in general.
You can if you'd like to motion to do that.
Oh, yes, please. I would like to motion to change fall retreat to trainings.
Second.
Just training.
can we add for all elected officials?
Okay, Senator Garcia, is this your motion?
Yeah, on top of the changing the senator, can I like layer the motions like with the amounts?
If you could just make everything in one motion, that would be so much easier.
Okay, for sure. So I motion to change the senator projects amount to 5,900, to change training to fund for the training line item for 2,700, and to rename the fall retreat line item to training for all elected officials.
Awesome, thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor of the motion on the floor?